Morning. It's beautiful. It's hot. I love all the red, white, and blue. I don't own anything red, white, and blue, so I went with baseball, the great American pastime. I don't have anything Bucks either, but they're not even close to blue. So, hey, let's stand up. Those of us that are here, let's go ahead and let's do our song. Don't start it until we see the words. I don't have anything Bucks either, but they're not even. It's all good. It's all good. Everybody staying cool. Those of us that are here, let's go ahead and let's do our song. Don't start it until we see the words. Yep. Technology, we can't live with it. We can't live without it. I do love it myself. Well, except when like things like this happen. There we go. It's backwards.
Did you say we have to sing backwards?
No, no. Gail's on it. Gail and Cindy, they're working on it, getting it all turned around. Now we're getting the music queued up. There we go. Yeah.
Wilbur and Orville had a dream. Nothing is impossible. Imagine if a man took wing. Nothing is impossible. People laugh, it can't be done. Man's not meant to fly. Their little dream changed everything. They dared to touch the sky. Nothing is impossible. Dreams are made to shine. When you blow by every obstacle and move like you're unstoppable, nothing is impossible. There's a place inside of you where nothing is impossible. Oh, the great things you will do, 'cause nothing is impossible. You were born into this world with everything you need. Hold on to your heart, the magic starts the moment you believe. Nothing is impossible. Dreams are made to fly. When you blow by every obstacle and move like you're unstoppable, nothing is impossible. Nothing is impossible. You were born to shine. When you blow by every obstacle and move like you're unstoppable, nothing is impossible.
All right. Good morning, everyone. I'm Mary Gabrielson, and I am the minister here at No, my name is Kevin Reger. I'm on the Board of Trustees, and I'm filling in for Mary because she's taking a nice little vacation at the family lake cottage up in Minnesota. So thanks a lot for joining us today. And I would like us to start with our affirmations as soon as we get them up on the screen. You know, volunteers are worth every penny we pay them. So, all right, let's join us in our statement of faith. There is only one presence and one power in the universe and in my life, God, the good omnipotence. And our affirmation for the center, thank you, God, that we have come to this place to release the past, celebrate the present, and embrace the future in love, peace, harmony, and prosperity. Our prayer for racial healing. We are here because we care. We are here because you care. We are here because I care. Let me be the peace and act the peace. Let us move our hearts to the highest and best of us and focus on racial healing for self, others, and the world. In unity, through the name of Christ. Amen. So now is the time when we offer up prayers. And we are taking requests on from the prayer box up at the front of the sacristy here and also over the phone, but we're not saying individual prayer requests over the internet. We just feel that privacy is more important. So we're going to pray for general topics of healing today. So let's pray for justice, for those who feel that they've been wronged. We realize that God is always in charge. We rely on God's law of good to bring order and justice into all areas of our lives. Let's trust divine order in our lives and in this world. Our minds are poised and our hearts are serene, knowing that the Spirit of God works in all things to bring forth great possibilities in my life and in your life. For all those who have suffered a loss, the Holy Comforter is here, giving you strength and courage in your time of need, blessing you with peace, the peace that passes all understanding. For those that are having a health crisis, we pray for healing. As we breathe in and out, we realize that God is the life energy in every breath we take. As we breathe, God's energy continually fills us. God's energy renews us. For those in need of guidance, we remember that each of us are children of God. You have a faith in God's Spirit in you to inspire and guide you in the way that leads you to your greatest blessings. And for those of you that are struggling with habits that they wish to release, let's remember that the power of Christ is within you. You are strong and free and victorious. You overcome all obstacles and achieve self-mastery. And for all those that are struggling to find a job or keep a job, we realize that now the way is open for you to use your God-given talents in the best way possible. Your abilities will expand and enrich your life and the lives of others, and the perfect job is available to you. So let's just take a moment and send out positive energy to our world, our friends, our loved ones, and all those that have asked for prayers, all those in need of prayer, whether they asked or not. We just send the light of God, the light of love and blessings. We hold each of us in that power, that energy, that forgiveness, that peace, knowing that God flows in and through us every day, in every way, in every moment. Amen. Okay, June, the 12 powers. Uh-oh. Oh, okay. So, yes. Okay. So, yeah, can you go back? So I think that it is July and our corresponding color will be gold. So the power of the month of July is understanding, the ability to know, perceive, and apprehend. The disciple is Thomas, and it represents the ability to see beyond the appearances of reality. The corresponding color is gold, and it is located in the front of the brain. The affirmation is, my understanding of truth deepens and directs my life. That is a great understanding. I mean, a great affirmation. So remember that one. Okay, The daily word is freedom, and I've asked Nat to read it for us.
Good morning. In thought, word, and action, I celebrate my freedom. There are many ways to feel free. I may work hard to become financially free. I may plan trips so I can freely explore the world. I may commit to learning for intellectual freedom or exercise my body for greater freedom of movement. Even as I do my work in the world to know freedom, I remember that I'm always free at the level of spirit. No situation or circumstance has power over me. Every day and in every area of my life, I live from my divine nature, where I am holy and completely free. Through my inner powers of understanding and faith, I recognize and embrace empowering beliefs. My spiritual gifts of strength and release keep me on course and help me free myself from habits that derail my spiritual growth. Through God within, I am grateful to be free. For freedom, Christ has set us free. Galatians 5:1.
So, is anybody else here a fan of Pee-wee's Playhouse from back in the late 80s and early 90s? I was in my late 20s and early 30s when that show was on, but I stuck around every Saturday morning to watch it. And I just want you to know that the word of the day is freedom. So whenever you hear someone say it, scream real loud. I've been waiting for like a year to say that. So please make sure you do it just at least once, just to see what happens. Okay, I've got a song for you. So if any of you have been paying attention to all the songs that I sing over the years, I really only have written 3 songs, and I just keep writing new versions of them over and over again. It's forgiveness instead of judgment, the ability to change with God's help, and the mystical relationship of God with us in meditation and quiet contemplation. So I just keep going back to those because for me, that's just the holy 3. So, I hear from a lot of people that they just can't meditate and their mind just never stops chattering. And I just have one thing to tell them, and that's get over it. Because if you think you're special, you're not. Everybody who sits in meditation has their mind chatter. The important thing is to keep on trying. But if you really can't, then I suggest that you take out a pen and a piece of paper and you start to journal, because that's a meditation in itself, and it's one that everyone can do. And don't think that you can't think of something to write because you just told me that your mind never stops telling you things. So just start writing, and don't start planning what you're going to write. Write, how do I feel today? And then just take off. Write, what am I grateful for? And then just start writing. Who do I love and what great qualities do I admire in them? And just start writing. It's very, very easy, and I urge you all to do it, okay? So this song ties into the sermon a little bit. It's just called The Fact of the Matter Is. Tit for tat, when we think like that, keeping score becomes the goal. When we're looking for more, we find reasons galore. A certain someone is less than whole. Though we think we're in charge, the fact of the matter is our thinking is out of control. So when I'm tallying points all over the joint, it keeps me quite busy, you see. Because when I learn how to blame, I learn to love the game. It keeps me from looking at me. So I think I'm in charge. The fact of the matter is, it keeps me from being happy. We have to look with love. We have to rise above the appearances of what we see. We have to learn to be wise, to realize that everyone is just like me. We all have our weaknesses. The fact of the matter is some display them openly. We gotta learn to think the things that we want to think. It's actually hard to control, for our mind can bend back again and again the thoughts that undermine our goals. When we think we're in charge, the fact of the matter is only practice will master that role. We all have our weaknesses. The fact of the matter is some carry them openly. But that doesn't make them less deserving of love than either you or me. The fact of the matter is it might be a stretch, but that's why we're here, you see. We all have our weaknesses. The fact of the matter is some carry them more openly. But that doesn't make them less deserving of love than either you or me. The fact of the matter is it might be a stretch, but we're here to think differently. All right. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so I called my talk Judgment, Discernment, and Forgiveness, with the emphasis on forgiveness. So there is one joke I want to tell before I get started. It's not an original joke. It has nothing to do with the sermon, but many years ago, a 6-year-old told me this joke, and it's one of my favorite jokes. She said, this is Caitlin, she said, what do you do when you get eaten by an elephant? You run around and around till you're all pooped out. I love that joke. So, okay. I have an Edgar Cayce quote. Those of you who know me realize I'm a student of Edgar Cayce, and I really like this one. Let it always be such in your relationships that everyone is glad to see you come and sorry to see you go. I just thought that says it all, you know. Okay, so judgment and discernment and forgiveness. You know, it's only natural for us to judge when we see harm being inflicted upon other people, when we feel suffering in the world, when we feel that someone is causing that and we want it to stop. So it's easy to condemn in such circumstances. But the suffering isn't just for the individual, it's also collective. And the more that we insist on seeing that condemnation, the more that we help spread that suffering. So we, you know, by condemning, we help suffering continue, because rehabilitation and empathy is the only thing that can help change things around for the people that are causing suffering. And then that will in turn stop future suffering. So we need to be able to see the shared humanity with everyone, those who are suffering and those who are causing suffering. I think that that's where we have our biggest fail, and that is that we just don't see ourselves in those that are committing acts that we don't approve of. But we need to realize that we should be able to see ourselves in the angry man or the drug addict or even the criminal, because we all have faults, and no one is perfect. And if we cannot see ourselves in others, then we haven't advanced very far. So if you really take time to get into the quiet and contemplate a little bit, you'll realize that anger and resentment, they actually hurt us. So you think that you're just thinking ill of someone else, but that really reflects back on yourself. I mean, it takes your joy, it takes your peace. I can't tell you how many times I have been walking my dogs in a beautiful park, and instead of enjoying that experience of where I am in the moment, I'm sitting here thinking about the ills of society and how angry I am that they haven't been corrected yet. And it's like, let it go. You know, we have to find our own peace. And eventually anger and resentment is going to actually take our health. So it's important that we find it as often as we can. You know, there's a famous French novel from the 1600s called Candide. I don't know if any of you have heard of it, but it's the story of a man who was traveled all across the known world and just suffered unspeakable suffering and hardship and just saw horrible things happen. And in the end, he and a small group of friends managed to survive this and return back to France. And the very last line in the book, I was only 21 when I read this and I didn't get it at all, but now I think it's one of the most amazing lines I've ever seen in print. And it is this: let others do as they may. As for me, I shall tend my own garden. And what else are we here to do but to tend our own garden? I mean, it's you can't change the world, but you can change the world you live in. So the immediate world you live in, the immediate world that you touch, the people that you know, the things that are within your control to affect. And we just need to remember that every day when the world seems too big and daunting. So one thing that can help us find compassion for those that are committing atrocities or acting in ways that we don't approve is just to realize that everyone that acts that way is probably acting out of a suffering from themselves. I mean, themselves as well. They're trying to alleviate their own suffering. They are fearful of losing something, being found out, losing a job, losing money, losing friendships, losing respect. And they're just trying to act out to save themselves, to help themselves avoid suffering. And that's a universal concept that we all want to avoid suffering. So you have to realize that everyone has a backstory, and maybe they come from a broken home. Maybe they were never shown any love. Maybe they were in the inner city going to lousy schools with gangs on the street corners and no expectations for anyone to succeed. And, you know, if you live a life like that, it's very hard to rise above it. Many people do, but many people do not. And before we judge, we have to realize that you can't just walk a mile in their shoes. You would probably have to walk 15 or 20 years in their shoes to be able to realize how you would handle such circumstances. So it's much better to look with compassion rather than condemnation. So if we can change our focus to compassion, we can want to help the person that's the perpetrator. And if we can help the perpetrator, that in turn stops the bad behavior and ends the future suffering for others. So one person reformed helps society so much more than one more person incarcerated. And we need to move our criminal justice system in that direction. At least that is my opinion. But I'd like to move on to a few things that the Bible has to say about judging. It's not for it. So just so you know, people forget, but you know, they think that God was judging all the time. Well, even if God was, he was never asking us to do that. That's his job. So in Matthew chapter 7, there's one of the most famous quotes, "Judge not, lest ye be judged." And the Bible reminds us that we can't see what's in someone's heart. You know, we can assign bad motives to someone who may be struggling with hidden battles, maybe doing the very best they can, may have unspeakable hardships that they're dealing with that we have no idea about. I mean, when you see the screaming kid in the checkout lane at the grocery store and you think, boy, that's a bad mother, you know, how could she do that? She might be working 2 jobs, struggling to keep a special needs kid at home instead of in a group home. And she is doing the very best to show love and compassion and giving all of her energy to this child. And so we should not be judging from afar. It's impossible to do so. You know, God will ask us to account for our own actions, but he's never going to ask us to account for the actions of your neighbor or the president or anybody else you can think of. So just focus upon yourself. We have enough work to do just to clean up our own act. You know, in Romans chapter 12, Paul wrote, let us stop passing judgment upon one another. Instead, make up your mind not to put any stumbling block or obstacle in the way of your brother or sister. So if you think about it, condemning someone else, it really does put a stumbling block in front of them. It tells them that you don't think they're good enough. You don't think that they'll ever change. You don't think that they deserve a second chance. It's just not a positive thing. Let us never put a stumbling block in front of others. So is it ever appropriate to judge? So the Bible says that we shouldn't do fault finding, but it does say that by the fruits of the Spirit, you'll recognize them. By their fruits, you will know them. So the Bible does understand that we need to be able to observe actions and the actions of people and decide whether, decide how we're going to interact with that person. There are some people that can become close friends, and there's others that you need to keep at arm's length because you recognize the way they are acting. But you can still do that without condemning them as a person. You know, I've been kind of talking more about society in general, and I haven't really touched on personal relationships, because that's where we really have the hardest time judging and forgiving, I think anyways. The times when someone really fails to keep a secret, a confidence, or spreads lies about you, or says something hurtful about you, disappoints you in some major way, I mean, that really does cause a hard, difficult hurdle for us to overcome. But over and over again, I come back to the second of the four agreements, and that is, nothing others do is because of you. Don't take anything personally. Nothing others do is because of you. Don't take anything personally. I know that sounds like pie in the sky, but I've been working with this for 15 years, and it's right every time. I mean, when people act out and you just happen to be in the way, I mean, that's really what my understanding of it is. And as soon as you can take your own, personal hurt out of that situation, you can observe them making a mistake, but not, attempting to harm you, because you have your own decision whether to allow that to hurt you or whether to not take it personally, and whether you can look at them with compassion. And I think that's what we need to strive to do, even though it's not always easy. So there's three concepts from the Edgar Casey readings that I find useful when I think about struggling with interactions with friends and family, people I know. And they're very simple things, but if you really take them to heart, it does make a difference. And one of them is, all souls are on a journey of discovery and growth. And we can only learn through the right use and the misuse of our will. So, that means everyone, even the people that may be misusing their will. Remember, we're on a journey for discovery and growth. They're learning, they're growing. It may be that they're going to not like what they found out about their actions, but they're still on that same growth journey along with all of us. Another one is, all souls are divine beings of the infinite eternal source. So being Unity students, we all know that, right? But we have to also realize that we are divine souls, but we are also human egos at various levels of development. I mean, that's just what life in Earth is. And we have to strive to see that divine within harder than we have to strive to see the faults that people have. And it's so easy to see the faults, and we forget to continue to look for the divine being, because we are all divine beings as well as human egos. And the other thing is, this life is a training realm for all souls all the time. So you don't get to choose when you decide to learn a lesson. I mean, life, every second, every experience is a lesson. So all situations, all relationships are set up for both parties to learn. Both parties to learn how to resolve, both parties to learn how to love. And I'm really good at understanding this at training realm because I often say, I'll teach them a thing or two. But I don't think that's what this means, though. So we really have to be, recognizing that difficult situations, and interactions can come upon us, all the time. But they really are opportunities to grow, opportunities to show forgiveness, opportunities to show love. And that's what we should strive to do. So one of my favorite quotes is, remember, when you have a choice to be right or to be kind and you will be right every time. So I like that quote. I don't know who said it, but it's a good one. So, one of the things that I do if I do feel that I've had a conflict or I've been wronged is I really try to use a version of the Ho'oponopono. I move myself to a prayer and meditation state, and then I ask even if I don't know what I've done, I say, I ask you to forgive me. I wish you no harm. I ask for forgiveness. I love you. I hope that we can restore our relationship. So there's really 4 parts. It's I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, and I love you. And it takes a little practice to mean that, but I have seen relationships myself turn around. Even at work, I have used this when I had problems with a boss or a coworker, and things that I had been struggling with for weeks or months tended to just disappear over the matter of a few days when I could really say this and mean it. So I urge you to work with that, and we're going to do the meditation with that today when I'm done. But recognize that we all make mistakes. We all need forgiveness. So don't be afraid to ask for forgiveness, even if you felt that you have been in the wrong, because in my mind, if there's a misunderstanding and there's hurt and there's harm, in some way, we missed an opportunity to do better, or the situation wouldn't have ended that way. There's some way that we could have done better. So ask for forgiveness, even if you're not quite sure what you could have done. Just say, I'm sorry, I didn't know how to do better. But if you really want the relationship to be repaired, then I mean, that's what you want to pray for. There's no sense in holding a grudge if you have any desire to repair a relationship. It just gets in the way. So, and remember, our thoughts are powerful. They really do touch others. So, as I said, I never went to these people I had a conflict with and said, "Oh, I love you. Please, please forgive me." I didn't say that, but they heard it. They did. They felt it because there was a shift in our relationship, a shift in our energy. So, it really can work. So, I really think that is about all that I need to say as far as the talk today. So I would like to move us into a forgiveness meditation. So you can start the music. And for this forgiveness meditation, I'd like you to try to visualize someone that you have a relationship that you would like to try to repair. Perhaps you want to forgive yourself for something. So it can be anyone. It could even be, President Biden, if you've got a beef with him. I don't know. Anyways, let's just prepare for meditation by sitting up straight, closing our eyes, and breathing deeply. As you exhale, let's just release the tension in the shoulders. Exhale again, feel that tension release in your body. Allow yourself to just focus on the breath and release your stray thoughts. Just breathe in the quiet. Breathe in silence. Breathe in peace. So when I wish to connect with God's grace and power, I often use this kind of a visualization, an affirmation. Arise, my soul, expand into the infinite source of life. Arise, my soul, and expand into the presence of God. And with each breath, I try to feel myself move closer, feel that source flow through me. I say, not my will, but thy will be done in me and through me. And by just sitting with that affirmation and trying to feel that sense of presence, I can calm myself and still my mind. So now I'd like you to visualize a situation where you'd like to find forgiveness, a person. Just visualize them and just say, I am sorry. I am sorry. I want to repair our relationship. I want this situation to change. I want to return to a better relationship. I'm sorry for anything that I have done or failed to do, intentionally or unintentional. But I am sorry and I want us to return to a better relationship. Please forgive me. I ask you to forgive me. I ask for forgiveness to restore our relationship. I love you and I do not judge. Please forgive me and help to soften the harsh edges of this situation. Please forgive me for my judgment, for mistakes I have made, for attitudes that I need to change, for any way that I may have hurt you. Please forgive me. I thank you. Thank you for giving me an opportunity to grow and release and forgive. Thank you for helping me see that I need to change, to be more forgiving, to release my anger. I need to change to help others to change. Thank you for this opportunity to grow, to change, to forgive. I love you. I love you for all we share and for all we have cared in the past. I love you. You are God's child, as am I. As God loves you, so am I trying to love you. You do not need to change to earn my love. You do not need to change to earn my love. God loves you, and I love you. I love you. Amen. All right. Thanks so much. No one walked out, so it was a good day. I really appreciate that. Thank you. Okay, so now is the time for our offering prayer. But before we do that, I just wanted to tell you a short story. A wealthy man dies and he goes to heaven. And St. Peter leads him through heaven, through streets of gold and mansion after mansion, up and down the streets, until he finally gets to the end of a street, and there's a small, tiny shack. And St. Peter says, this is your place to live. And the rich man says, well, why do I have to settle for this tiny little shack when there's all these mansions I could live in? And Peter just shrugs and he says, I'm sorry, we did the best we could with the money you sent us. So let's put our gifts in our hands and say our offering prayer. There is no lack or limitation. Freely I give and freely I receive from God's abundance. I am blessed as I give. Community is blessed in receiving. That was a good one, wasn't it? I just ran across that yesterday and I thought, well, I have got to mention that at just the right moment. So this is a kind of a meditative song. Breathe a smile inside your heart. Just relax, let it start. When we let our peace reveal, we finally begin to sense what's real. So just release, let's begin. It's time for us to learn to love again. We can see the world around us as a loving place. If we look through the eyes of grace, breathe a smile within your life. Just forgive and make it right. When we live in openness, we can live life at its best. So just relax and then allow the presence of God's love is with us now. We can see the world around us as a loving place. When we look through the eyes of grace, feel peace breathe within you now. Let it flow in and out. When we can sense the Spirit flowing, it's then we begin our knowing. So just release, let's begin. It's time for us to live in love again. We can see the world around us as a loving place. If we look through the eyes of grace, if we look through the eyes of grace. Thank you. And I'm waiting for something here. Oh, today's announcements. So we're going to have a potluck. It's been a long time since we've had one, but we feel that we're ready. The last Sunday of the month, July 25th. So please come and relax and enjoy fellowship with your spiritual community. Bring a dish to share. We haven't quite thought about how we're going to handle the dishing out of the meal, but we'll have that figured out by July 25th. So please feel free to come and do some visiting and have some good food. Oh, it's the beginning of the month. So do we have any birthdays in July or anniversaries in July to celebrate? Don't be bashful. Okay, it must be all you people at home then. Okay, Jane Jampal, who passed away last year, her birthday was July 1st. Okay, great. Okay, so feel free to join us for midweek meditation. Invest some time in your spiritual practice. We have it available on our Facebook page and on our website. There's about 3 or 4 different people that put up meditations throughout the course of the month. So please feel free to tune in. We update them every Wednesday. If you don't have time for a 20-minute meditation or a 15-minute meditation, at least try to take time for 1 or 2 minutes at noon every day to just sit in the silence and feel gratitude. The minister's book study. We are on the very last chapter of Cast. It was quite a book. If you missed the book study, I would still recommend this book if you have any interest in really understanding the racial issues and history of our country and what we might do to fix it. So it's been a great book. And then we are going to take the rest of the summer off. Woohoo! So we're going to wait until September to start back in on a new book. And it's called Unbelievable by Spahn. I can't remember his first name, but it's actually about some of the things that are found in the Bible that are difficult to believe, and perhaps a more alternative way to understand them as opposed to the traditional understanding of some of these things. So we do have silent unity prayer every Thursday at 11 o'clock. We're going to meet in the chapel or the fireplace room. So if anyone is available to stop in, the prayer service lasts 15 or 20 minutes, and it follows the book club, but it's at 11 o'clock. There's a Course in Miracles led by Joanne Bauman, our able leader. She's there in the back seat. Starts at 11:45 every Sunday. And A Course in Miracles uses miracle-minded thinking to focus on forgiveness and universal love. And if you didn't get enough forgiveness out of my talk today, then please stop in and see Joanne. And thank you very much. Okay, so this is our centennial year, or we're going to have a centennial celebration in October. So we're still doing Love in Action, the envelopes in the pews that have red writing on them to help defer the expenses that we're going to have to try to have a little celebration, a meal, and some signs and some, I don't know. We've got a lot of different things cooked up in the Centennial Committee, but they haven't all come to fruition yet. So anyways, please feel free to send that in as a separate donation. Dr. Vijay is returning on July 24th. There will be a supper around 4:30 that he will prepare, and then he will teach starting at 6:30. And then on Sunday, there will be fellowship as usual. And then after the fellowship, he will teach again with a longer talk in the afternoon. And it's free. Okay, yes, the most important thing. Okay, Reverend Mary is teaching. No, this is not Reverend Mary. It's a online course. Unity's 12 Powers Teaching. It's a 6-month self-guided class, 2 powers each month. It begins this week. So there's music, writings, teachings, and more for each of the powers. UCIM, that's us, receives $30 per registration. It's not too late to register. Okay, we're going to say the America the Beautiful, but why don't you rise? And this is the Stogood verse. Oh, beautiful, compassionate shores where dreams and hope are born, where kindness and civility can weather any storm. America, America, God heal this great divide. Let fear release, rekindle peace, till all our hearts unite. You and me, from sea to shining sea. And we'll start the music.
On earth,
affirmation. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is. And so it is. Thanks so much for joining us, and we'll see you next week.